I wanted to welcome everyone this evening for our second presentation of upcoming exhibitions with Dr. Naomi Slip. I hope everyone had a wonderful, healthy, happy, safe Thanksgiving this year. And I am Tracy Calabrese. I am the Donor Relations Manager here at the New Bedford Whaling Museum. And before I introduce Naomi, I would not be doing my job if I didn't tell you we are approaching year end. We had Giving Tuesday yesterday, and we currently have a matching gift opportunity. All online donations between now and the end of the year will be matched dollar to dollar up to $500 per gift, up to $25,000. So we have the opportunity to unlock a $25,000 match. We did it last year. I anticipate we will do it again this year, but we do need your help. So I will pop our donate page into the chat button, the chat screen, so that you can click it as soon as you're done. So we're excited to present this Coming Attractions webinar with Dr. Naomi Slip, the Douglas and Cynthia Crocker Endowed Chair for the Chief Curator and # longest title, I think, of anyone here at the Whaling Museum. So hurrah to that. Naomi is a New England native. We've gotten her back here rose recently from her position at Auburn University at Montgomery, where she was a tenured associate professor of art history and managed the university gallery and directed the university museum studies program. So she definitely earned her long title here with all of that past work. I get the pleasure, I don't know, you probably can't hear me echoing, but I do get the pleasure of sitting right near her over in the Sundial building. So she is just as lovely and fun as she is smart, as you're going to learn in this presentation. And she has hit the ground absolutely running. We're so excited to have her. We're so excited to share this with you. I will stop talking and let her take it away.
Thank you for that kind introduction, Tracy. It's a pleasure to be your office mate and to get to bounce lots of ideas off of you and talk about exhibition planning and get some outside perspective, the things that are going on inside in the department here. I'm really pleased to be able to share a kind of preview of the year ahead in terms of exhibitions that are upcoming. I'm going to share with you first the three exhibitions that are currently or will be open by the end of next week, and then give you a view all the way into next fall. So hopefully there will be something here to excite, to entice, and to draw you back to the museum again and again in the next calendar year. So first, I want to start with an exhibition that is currently open in our galleries. This is an exhibition of the work of Courtney Madison called Turn the Tide. This exhibition opened on the 15th of November and will be up until May 1st. If you haven't come to see it yet, I really hope that you will come to the gallery and experience her work. Courtney is an LA-based ceramicist who has a dual master's degree from Brown University and RISD in environmental studies with a focus on ceramics. Her research area in particular focuses on tropical coral reefs, and she's really interested in using her art forms to advocate for ocean health. So all of her ceramic works have something to do with the current environmental crises and the effects, the really disastrous effects that things like global warming, ocean acidification, ocean pollution, and warming seas are having, especially on invertebrates, on corals, sponges, and other sea life. The piece that you see on the screen now, Malum Geminos, is a 21-foot wide sculpture comprised of hundreds of small individual pieces made of stoneware and porcelain. It's extraordinarily fragile, and it is really overwhelming when you see it in person. It is haunting, mysterious, a little disturbing, and that's part of Courtney's intent with the piece. Malum Geminos is a Latin term that means evil twins, and it comes from a speech made at the UN about the global climate crisis, where someone likened or described ocean acidification as the evil twin of global warming. Of course, coral, as calcifying creatures, are really horribly impacted by ocean acidification. As the oceans rise, the pH balance changes in the seas, it becomes more acidic, and creatures that calcify their own skeletons, like coral, actually dissolve away in these highly acidic waters. So we're seeing an artistic rendering of that kind of process in front of us, the kind of death, the slow death of the coral reefs. Courtney has other pieces in the exhibition that we're really excited to bring as well to audiences here at the museum, including a series of works that depict hope spots. These are biologically rich sites in our oceans that represent extraordinary biodiversity, but are also under extreme threat. They've been identified by an organization, particularly for conservation efforts. And we have 4 hope spots on view. These are the round works hanging on the wall at the kind of back of the gallery on the right, if you're looking at the top image here. They include places like Malaysia and other spots that really require immediate action in order to be saved. We also are excited to exhibit 4 works from her fossil fuels series that kind of probes the disastrous effects of resource extraction, fossil fuel extraction, oil extraction on the oceans, not just from climate change and global warming, but also from the effects of deep sea drilling and extraction processes. So we have gasoline cans, oil cans, and others that are covered in these kind of ghostly white coral forms. They're really evocative. There's another large piece in the gallery on the end wall, this brightly colored spiraling form of coral, which are moving from what looks like one air duct to another at the end of the gallery. That piece is called Aqueduct. And in fact, and this is in the upper left of the screen if you're looking, the air duct at the top of the piece is actually made entirely of porcelain. It's a fake. And the idea behind this is that Courtney wanted to visualize species migration. So thinking about the ways in which, as the oceans warm, particular species are traveling to different spaces because they're no longer able to be accommodated in their current environment. So she shows the corals moving from one air duct to another, kind of imagining this kind of global migration of species to more habitable climates. So this exhibition is up, as I said, until May 1st. 2022. We're very excited to have some wonderful programming to go along with this exhibition. Courtney will be hosting a kids clay workshop on March 6th from 11 to 2 p.m. That will be limited seating. So as soon as tickets go live, I would encourage people to book a spot. It will be, I think the age she recommends is like 2 and up, and children will be able to make their own coral forms just like they see in the gallery. So it should be really wonderful. I wish I could participate. The other thing that she'll be doing for us is an artist lecture on Tuesday, March 8th from 6 to 8, and there will be a reception as well that evening. So that'll be a really not to be missed event. It will be run as a hybrid event currently. That's what our plan is. So I hope as we go through the exhibitions, and I mentioned some of the events, you'll kind of pencil them into your calendar. We're starting to create some placeholders on the website. Obviously, this is 4 months out, so we don't have booking options yet, or RSVPs yet, but please just kind of pencil in and you'll get announcements about these events as the registration goes live. The second exhibition that I'm excited to share will open on December 12th. And run through February. This is an exhibition called Unvarnished Conservation of Charles Sidney Raleigh's Panorama of a Whaling Voyage, so there were some questions at the start of this event about our other panorama, the Russell Purrington panorama, which is currently on view at Mystic. But you may not know that we have a second panorama. It's a panorama that was painted by Charles Sidney Raleigh, an artist who was born in Gloucester, England, who sailed with the Merchant Marines for 30 years and then retired and settled in New Bedford, where he became what was known at the time as a fancy painter. So he painted signs, carriages, and houses. And in the late 1870s, he undertook to create a panorama that would tour locally and that would depict the 4-year voyage of the New Bedford vessel, the Niger, which spent most of its 4 years in the South Pacific and around New Zealand. And he toured this panorama mostly locally within the region until about 1905. The painting was on one very long, about 120-foot long roll of canvas. And when it was exhibited, it was hung from the top via grommets and rope. It was donated to the museum in 1918 as one roll and stored in a closet until 1958, when the museum turned its attention to the painting and aimed to save it. In their decision-making process, they decided to cut that roll up into individual paintings, and then they underwent a 10-year conservation process to have the picture treated, and in the process mounted onto these very large aluminum panels. Now that was all done in good faith, and it was a really significant endeavor to try and save this work, but that was 60 years ago at this point. And today those conservation approaches or efforts are not necessarily the way we would treat pictures like this today. One of the big problems that happened in that effort is that they were put on these huge aluminum panels, which are very heavy. So we have 18 individual paintings that are 6 feet by 12 feet. They weigh over 250 pounds. They're hard to move, they're hard to store, they're hard to hang. Here you see them in their purpose-built conveyance in storage. It was very difficult to mount and install this exhibition in the gallery, and I'll give you a little sneak peek here of what it currently looks like. Actually, this is a few days before we hung the pictures. So part of the intention of this little pocket exhibition over the winter months is to share with you some things that have been in storage, to talk a little bit about the challenges of the museum collection that we have, which includes whaleboats and panorama pictures and objects made out of difficult materials that present real conservation challenges, and to think about what that means for an institution like us, as well as to launch a conservation effort to, at a minimum, get some of these pictures cleaned. Because they're so heavy, because they are difficult to move, they've been sitting in storage and they do have a lot of surface condition issues. So they really need a serious cleaning, but then also to think about whether there are alternatives to the support system so that we can better use and care for these pictures in the future. So it'll be a little bit of a conservation show, a little bit of a kind of behind the scenes show. I'm very excited that we'll be hosting a roundtable event on February 17th from 6 to 8 p.m. where we discuss these very challenges. Called Behind the Scenes, the New Bedford Whaling Museum Collection and its Challenges. It will include myself, Jordan Burson, our Director of Collections, and Stephen Lubar, who has extraordinary museum experience, including at the Smithsonian and is the former director of the Haffenraffer Museum of Anthropology. He's a current professor at Brown University. So the three of us will sit down and chat about our collection, the challenges we face, and this panorama. The third exhibition that will be opening this winter on December 12th is an exhibition of the paintings of Southern New Hampshire-based artist Christopher Volpe. Volpe does these oil paintings inspired by the writings of Herman Melville. And in the series that we'll be showing called Loomings, he's specifically borrowing from Melville's Moby Dick. He's connecting the fervor for whale oil in the 19th century and the kind of drama and real kind of tension of Moby Dick with our current climate crisis and our reliance on fossil fuels and oil. He does this by incorporating tar, oil byproduct, into his paint medium to create these really moody pictures of marine scenes. So you see two examples here. They're large, kind of evocative, dark paintings that speak to the kind of correspondences between the 19th century hunt for whale oil and our ecological crisis today. He'll be giving a hybrid artist talk on January 20th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And that talk is titled Loomings, Melville, Art, and the Climate Crisis. So I hope that you'll put that in your calendar too. This show will be up until May 8th, 2022. In March, we'll be opening a large exhibition on the art of Domingos Rebello. The Domingos Rebello is considered a kind of treasure of Azorean and Portuguese modernist painting. He was an early 20th century artist. He trained in Paris in the 19 teens. He is extraordinarily well known in the Azores and in Portugal, but less well known here. And this exhibition presents a real opportunity for us to showcase his artwork and introduce him to an American audience, and in particular, an audience that for some may be very familiar with his work already. We will be exhibiting over 60 of Rebello's paintings, mostly from private collections in the Azores and Portugal. The exhibit is being curated by Rebello's grandson, who has made himself a scholar in his grandfather's work. And we're really excited to bring these extraordinary pictures to New Bedford audiences. You see two of my favorites here on the screen. They are just two of amongst a whole host of really wonderful works. It's going to be a beautiful exhibition to have up through the summer. These are all bright and colorful. They kind of bring the flavor of the Azores. And we will host a number of dynamic programs to go along with the exhibition, including some programs around the festival in New Bedford, the large feast, the Portuguese feast in the first week of August. We will also be publishing a major catalog on the artist that will come out at the same time as the exhibition. It will be in both English and Portuguese, and it will be the go-to catalog on Rebello in English as well. In the summer, we'll also be hosting an exhibition called Sailing to Freedom, the Maritime Dimensions of the Underground Railroad. This is similarly an exciting project and a collaborative one between Tim Walker at UMass Dartmouth, Lee Blake at the New Bedford Historical Society, and Mike Dyer, our curator of maritime history. While many people think of the Underground Railroad as a terrestrial route to freedom, in fact, many African Americans and enslaved individuals on the Eastern Atlantic seaboard in the late 18th and across the 19th century self-emancipated by sea. They would sign up with ships, they would stow away, and many of them make their way to New Bedford. So this exhibition is going to interrogate the kind of ways in which New Bedford played a pivotal role in individuals' self-emancipation and the ways in which they found freedom via the ocean. There was a question about whether we'll have symposiums again. There will be a conference corresponding with this exhibition. I think the organizers are leaning towards September right now, but as soon as those events firm up, we'll be sharing those with members as well. This show is open from May through the end of November, and it features a number of really important objects from our collection, as well as some significant loans from other institutions. We're also hosting two exhibitions featuring works by somewhat more local artists. We'll be doing an exhibition of Bill Shattuck's work. Bill Shattuck is a highly skilled painter and artist who does these really beautiful, moody, evocative, large oil paintings of scenes that perhaps feel familiar to many. Scenes like these of the waterfronts and the marshes. He tends to depict moments in the early morning and the evening, periods when there's kind of unusual atmospheric conditions. He uses lots of glazing, multiple glazes over and over to get these really kind of beautiful surfaces and luminous quality to his work. I think this will be a really stunning exhibition that features and showcases a significant local artist. This show will be up from June until the end of December. Similarly, we'll be showing the photography of Henry Hornstein, who is a New Bedford-born artist and who currently is working in the Boston area. Hornstein, as trained as a photographer, has had a long, successful career teaching photography as well. And in the 1970s, like many photographers of his generation, adopted a documentary style and began kind of taking what we might consider snapshots of family and friends. These are really beautiful photographs showing individuals that capture the kind of flavor and the life of New Bedford and Dartmouth and the surrounding region. This is a whole series that Hornstein called Close Relations. So I'm excited that we'll be able to bring these photographs as well. This show will be up from June 9th to December 18th. We expect about 30 prints in the exhibition from this grouping. We'll also be launching the first of a kind of three-phase rollout for our major oral history exhibition called Common Ground, a Community Mosaic. This is a project that has been a couple years in the making, and we're really excited to bring it into the galleries starting in July for a first phase. The project has an ambitious goal, which is to create an oral history archive of stories about the South Coast region from its residents. So we are undergoing kind of ambitious story collection project. And hopefully you'll encounter booths out in the community or starting in July in the museum where you can contribute your own stories about your experiences in the South Coast and what this region means to you personally. The first phase of the exhibition will be a small kind of pocket space where we'll be testing out some of the audio delivery systems for how we'll share stories in the larger exhibition. And there will be a story collection space where you can leave a story. And then the large exhibition will launch from January of 2023 through August, where we'll really showcase the archive that we collect of stories. The exciting thing about the Common Ground project is that it's not just an exhibition though, with these two parts, but that every story that's contributed to the Common Ground project becomes an accessioned object in our collection and will be treated as such and preserved for generations. So if somebody contributes a story, their grandchildren might find that story doing historical research 60 or 70 years from now. So we're really excited to be partnering with the community to create the archive and then sharing it in pieces in the exhibitions. So I hope you'll share a story and I hope you'll come to the exhibition. Finally, in the fall, in late October, we'll be hosting an exhibition of 19th century American landscape painting from private collections in the South Coast. This is going to be a really wonderful opportunity to showcase the extraordinarily rich works of art that often are behind closed doors. We'll be bringing together some of the masterpieces from our collection in 19th century landscape painting with some of these other examples to really show the breadth and depth of what these painters were creating in the middle and latter half of the 19th century. We'll also, though, be thinking about the kinds of things that their paintings don't always illuminate or show. So things like relationships with Native communities in the region, the environmental effects or environmental events that were happening at the time, and also the ways in which women were capturing nature, perhaps in their own ways. Oftentimes the kind of quote unquote great 19th century American painters are men. So we'll try and bring women into the gallery as well through watercolors, embroidery, and other kinds of studies. So it is a busy schedule for us. This exhibition takes us all the way into 2023, which is exciting. As members, again, I really hope that you'll come again, you'll bring family, you'll bring friends, and you'll be sure to visit us often as our galleries turn over.